Live and direct. It's Sway in the morning.
Right here on Shade 45.
Listen, I have to go back. I have to play these clips because Queen Latifah does an excellent job at what she does with daytime TV. Mm-hmm. Ellen is the reigning champ right now, daytime TV. Mm-hmm. And I could go on and name a whole list of a whole slew of other hosts who did daytime TV. But none of them came before the woman who is joining us today, the one and only Ricki Lake, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you brought me back. Trifling.
I had to because you were like, you know, I grew up in Oakland, so and then watching your show, it was the realest thing that hit TV at that time, and we didn't understand why you were so identifiable to us.
I didn't understand it, quite frankly, either.
Yeah, and you were. Ricki Lake was like down, like we felt like you were from the hood.
I was a homegirl. Yes. And I love how my name was one word, Ricki Lake.
Ricki Lake. Ricki Lake.
I mean, it was an amazing phenomenon for me. You know, I had this incredible perspective of young people, what young people wanted to talk about. I learned so much. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience. I did it for 11 years. I ended up ending the show and moving to California after 9/11. Yeah. And I'm very grateful to have had that experience. But it is like people can't believe I'm still here. You know, they can't believe I look the way I look because I was so young back then. Yeah. But, you know, I'm 45. I have 2 kids. One's about to go to college next year. And I'm old.
You look awesome. Get out of here. Now, here's the thing. What our audience may not realize is I had to reintroduce Ricki and Heather right now. You guys have history, Heather being you.
You were on my show.
Yeah.
Many times.
Many times. Ricki was so gracious, and she had a panel of women that would come on, a reoccurring panel of women that would come on and talk about some of the very issues that were trifling in the trip and all that other kind of good stuff. So it was fun, and we learned so much. You would come, what people didn't know, Sway, Ricki would come backstage and before the show and just kick it with us. How y'all doing? How was your day? And it was just nice to see such a big host and that personality come backstage and just be one of the girls. She would hang out in
real. But I was a fan of yours. You know, I was obsessed with the real world. So I was like, oh my God, Heather B's in the house. Thank you. That was groundbreaking television too.
Wasn't it?
It was amazing. I had Eric on my new show, the one that was short-lived. I had him on last year.
Did you? Yeah. I haven't seen Eric.
Oh, we tried to set him up with one of those girls. I can't remember the girl from The Apprentice, the singer. We tried to set him up with her. The girl, the blonde girl that had a boy band or a girl band.
Danity Kane.
Yes, exactly. The girl from that.
Audrey
O'Day.
Yes.
She's adorable, and he's very grungy and bohemian now. He was cool. I enjoyed talking to him.
You made a love match?
No, I don't think. I think they got together. I don't know whether they, tagged that.
They smashed?
Yeah, I don't think it happened. I don't think it was a love, but it was, it was fun. It was fun. It's fun to like see these personalities from so long ago, from our day, in the 90s.
Not the 90s, the good old days, right?
Yeah.
You're not alone today. You got Abby Epstein that's with you.
I got my partner in crime, Abby Epstein. I love the applause.
Hi, Abby.
Yeah,
We're work wives.
Yeah, work wives.
We are.
What is it like working with Ricki Lake? What is that like?
I'm a sure thing.
She is a sure thing. Yeah.
I'm also a good time.
She's a hot date.
Yeah.
I met her directing her in the Vagina monologues.
Oh, that's right. You did that. Yeah.
And so we always joke that we've never really left the vagina. Yeah. We've kind of everything we do is sort of stemmed from,
the coochie.
Women and the cooch and owning your body and being proud of your body and, birthing your babies and
the way you want.
Women's empowerment. Like we've always connected on that level. And
for me, that speaks to me more than hoochie mama makeovers.
You killed the makeover game, by the way. You redefined
Weave wars, it was fun. But this is stuff that really helps women out, on a deeper level. And that's the work we try to do.
You guys teamed up and made this documentary, right? It's called Breastmilk. Like I've watched a lot of the clips. I didn't sit and watch the entire thing yet. But I will say I found it to be interesting. I have a daughter.
How old?
She's 15 now. But she was breastfed as a child, and I, for some reason, believe that children who are breastfed, comprehension levels come at an earlier age. They seem like they become smarter. Is any research on that? Because my daughter is brilliant. Is any research done on that?
Yeah, there have. Yeah, the research is like a little controversial, but they do say that you get like higher IQ points with like the extended breastfeeding. I think those studies are great, but then I get worried about those studies because then I don't want mothers to feel bad who can't breastfeed of like, oh, my kid's not going to be smart. You know what I mean? Because it's a little bit, but yeah, they do have studies that there's all these benefits.
Why can't a woman breastfeed? I don't have any children, so I'm not. Why can't a woman?
Well, like you can't, like my first son, like he was born early, he was preemie, so he was in the NICU for like a month, you know, hooked up to all these machines. Like I just wasn't really able to do it very much. You know, some women just don't have milk or
they have to go back to work. It's very challenging.
Yeah, physically, there's that too.
And you don't know what you're producing. You know, you're solely feeding your baby from your body, and you can't really monitor how much milk the baby's getting, and so you feel inadequate. You know, and society does not make it very easy for women. We don't have support when you leave the hospital. They hand a bottle of formula as you go and say, "Good luck with breastfeeding." You know, it's really challenging, and we don't honor this experience.
It's a time issue. I mean, breastfeeding is a big time suck because it's like if you give a baby a bottle, it's like you give a baby a bottle and they snarf it down in 30 seconds and you're done. But when they're on your boob, you know, it could be a half hour, and so it's a big time commitment.
And you could have, issues with bleeding nipples and, chapped skin. It can be painful if you don't know how to do it properly. So there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. Are we grossing you guys out?
Every guy in the room just cringed. We have executive producers Abby Epstein and Ricki Lake of the documentary Breastmilk that is actually opening tonight, right?
Yes, we have our premiere tonight. I mean, we open in LA next week on the 16th. We're sponsored by Medela. And and then it's opening in a few cities, and then we're doing community screenings all around the country.
This is important. Why?
I think it's an issue that's a hot button topic. Everyone seems to have an opinion about it, and I think there's a lack of support and a lack of communication about this issue. And so I think the great thing about this film is it really gets a conversation started. And it's without judgment. You know, we support women no matter what their choice is, whether to breastfeed or not. It can be very challenging, and we want women to come together, support each other without judgment so that everyone has a positive experience.
Did you breastfeed?
I did, but I don't know if you want to go there. I had a breast reduction when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
So I was not able to solely breastfeed. With my first son, I had to supplement with formula, and with my second, I'd learned so much, between the births that I had donated breast milk from my second son. So I was able to breastfeed and give donated breast milk to him. So so that was my issue. But it was not easy for me.
It wasn't easy. When women have implants, does it make it difficult?
It can be. Yeah.
Would you suggest it? Like, what do you think, Abby?
It's so hard because I don't think like maybe around the same time a woman's getting implants, they're not necessarily thinking about being a mother.
Yeah.
It's two different things. And, I think there was a character in the film. The filmmaker, Donna Benari, she told us there was a character in the film who was dealing with that issue. She didn't make it into the final cut. But, it's like a pretty common issue, I think.
Yeah, especially now, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Take the implants out, put them on a shelf? Or...
Oh, gosh, right.
You do with them. Tracy, you saw this, right?
Yeah, I did. And a scene that really sticks out in my mind, I don't think is going anywhere, is believe it was a toddler that was drinking breast milk out of a glass and like blowing bubbles with it with a straw.
Yeah.
And it made me think of this very controversial cover of Time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Where it was that mother that was breastfeeding like a kid that was knee high.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, when do you think nursing should stop? Is there an age where it becomes inappropriate?
I mean, I'm not one to say what's appropriate for someone else. Really, it's a very personal decision. And, we can have our opinions, but truthfully, we need to support mothers to breastfeed as long as that child and they think it's necessary.
Yeah.
Did you notice, is there a cultural thing as well? Like, do women of color, do they tend to breastfeed less? What was your notice? I mean, your take on all of this?
Yeah, statistically, it's really interesting with breastfeeding because it sort of follows like sometimes it's trendy for one group and not for the other, sort of depending on class structure. And what's interesting now, you could see in the film, like there's this character, Crystal. She's like a young mom, kind of a teen mom. And she's African-American, and she would really like to breastfeed. And her boyfriend kind of doesn't have the patience for it. Like he's like, oh, it takes so long, just give the bottle. And then it ends up not working out for her. And she kind of thinks it's positive. She's like, you know what? Like, it's cool because I got to go back to school and I got to go back to work. And I would have had to ask for extra breaks on my job to pump.
Wow.
And, she just... For her, it was like sort of a reality that there was not going to be time, and that's the weird thing about breastfeeding is like until the day they tell mothers you could take your babies to work, for the first couple months.
Fat chance that'll ever happen.
But honestly, until
Right.
but they do that in other countries, you know what I mean? And that's why they have 99% breastfeeding rates. But here it's like, nope, they want you back on the job. And then it's like a different thing when it's a pump and not a baby.
Yeah, we have Elizabeth on the line from New York. Good morning, Elizabeth. Hello.
Good morning. I listen to the show all the time.
Thank you. You're a citizen.
A Sway in the morning.
Man, we got the legendary Ricki Lake is here. Abby Epstein is here. What? Do you have a question?
Well, I'm 41 years old, and I grew up watching Ricki Lake, so I'm a fan.
Oh,
But thank you. I have two sets of children. I have a 20-year-old, and she would have been 16, a 16-year-old. She passed away. But and then now I have another set, a 1.5 and a 2.5-year-old.
Wow.
You are tired.
Yes, I am. But now my 20-year-old son, I was 21 when I had him, and I was a little bit ignorant, so I did not breastfeed him. I tried, but I didn't. When I had my 4 years later, I had my daughter, and I breastfed her for almost a year.
Wow.
Now, there was significant difference in their health. My son, he always got colds. He always got ear infection. He seemed to me to be a difficult child to parent, but I'm not going to say that was due to not breastfeeding him. But my daughter was totally opposite. She was very, very healthy, hardly ever got a cold, never got an ear infection, never, she was a student all the way. Now, I didn't think I would marry again and have more children, but I did, but I had a breast reduction, so I couldn't breastfeed my 1.5 and 2.5. And, I feel a little bit guilty about it, but I didn't know I would have more children. But if I could do it again, I would definitely urge everyone. And I'm a woman of color. I'm African American, and it's not popular in our culture.
Right.
But I come from an older Southern family, and all my aunties breastfed, and I was breastfed, and they kind of encouraged it. They said, your boobs are for your baby, not your man.
I beg to differ.
I think they're for both.
They're on loan. They're on loan.
They're on loan, right? But that's great for her, though, right?
Thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely. We have Tess on the line from Mississippi. Good morning, Tess. How are you?
Hi, Tess. Good morning.
I'm doing great. Good morning, y'all. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine.
Good.
Tess, hello to our guests, Ricki Lake and Abby Epstein from Breastmilk.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ricki. Good morning, Abby. I'm so glad y'all have this topic on. Thank you, Slay. Thank you, Kelly Kincaid.
You're welcome. Go ahead. So you have a question?
I don't have a question. I just want to support it and just reiterate what the prior caller said about breasts are made for babies, and I just don't understand society's problem with it. I breastfed both of my children, and I think you're right with what you said about we have to take babies around with us. We carry them everywhere anyway, and a receiving blanket over their head just makes everything discreet. Mm-hmm. Unless they're very hungry and they're slopping under there, that's the only way people know that they're being fed. Mm-hmm. And I had two that I breastfed, and I agree with the other lady. No, my children didn't take antibiotics.
Yeah,
because I gave them to them naturally.
Wow. Thanks for your call, Tess. I'm going to get a different point of view. We got Rodney on the line from Tampa. Rodney, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hey, Rodney.
Good morning.
Now, do you breastfeed, Rodney?
No, I'm good. No, I'm a breastfeed. But my wife does. We just had a son, like 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just want to reiterate on what you pointed out earlier was that you can't accurately I help out when I can, but you can't accurately measure when he's on the breast, but you can when she puts it in a bottle.
Right.
So I help out when I can. Would you recommend that you switch to the bottle full time, switch to pumping it, or still have him breastfeed what my wife do to the intimacy and the attachment and all that stuff?
I think it's whatever works for you guys. It's not for us to say, oh, you should do this and you should do that. It's really what's working for you, and you weigh your baby and make sure he's growing.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to make sure, though, too, because there's something about the actual baby's mouth on the nipple that stimulates the milk production. So if you just switch to pump full time, you may lose your milk supply quickly.
Sway's getting hot.
Yo, I'm getting bothered. Because no, listen, Ricki. I was watching the doc and I was like, I had to like turn it off. I was getting turned on.
It's it's a weird thing that it's somehow sexual, but it's not.
Well, there is lactation porn.
Yeah,
you
should get yourself some.
Go on X Hamster and
thank you, Abby. From Vagina Monologues. Thank you. Listen, if people want to find out more about this breast milk piece, how can they? Can they go online?
The cool thing is, like, I see your callers are calling in from all over the country, and so the film's releasing theatrically just in a handful of cities. But Ricki and I are doing these community screenings. Okay. And anybody can have a screening of this film in their town. Okay. So you go to our website, you can go to businessofbeingborn.com, you can go to breastmilkthefilm.com, and you could sign up to host a screening, in your community, do it in your church, do it in your school, and, bring people together and talk about this.
Wow. Thank you guys for coming by.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
You have to come by again, too.
I would love it. I love it. I feel like I'm home. I do play poker.
That's right.
She plays poker.
I saw it. You won some money for it.
I did. Yes. I won down in the Bahamas. I was in some women's tournament. And I got 6th place. Yeah,
I play poker, Ricki.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
Do you do home games?
In the meantime, I sure do. And in the meantime, I'm beating your Clippers, your Warriors. I just have to throw that in.
Get out of here, Ricki Lake.
I'm a
Ricki Lake, I love you, but get out of here.
Until then.
All right.
You're listening to Sway in the morning on Shade 45.